Hey guys, MCU Collector with another figure review. Next up is the Hasbro Power Rangers Lightning Collection, Amazon exclusive 2-pack of In Space Ecliptor and In Space ASTRONEMA. Well, I guess ASTRONEMA was also in Lost Galaxy, but that was as Corone, not ASTRONEMA, or she faked being ASTRONEMA in an episode. Anyway, this is an awesome set. Ecliptor is awesome. So much like Hasbro is doing with giving us villains and that type of thing, you know, getting Goldar, getting Zed, getting Rita. We had ASTRONEMA before, but man, this figure blows this figure out of the water. It is insane, the crazy difference between these two figures. You know, I thought at first it was going to be essentially the same exact figure, but the torso is all new on this new one, and then we get a new head sculpt that actually looks like ASTRONEMA. It is pretty crazy. So this thing essentially is absolutely no good, but it was essential in getting the In-Space Red Ranger, of course, Andros. But man, awesome 2-pack. It is a much wider 2-pack than we would normally get in the Lightning collection. You know, not that I review a lot of figures anymore. I don't tend to get a whole lot of videos, so I'm hoping views. So I'm hoping I get quite a few views on this one. But this is one I'm really excited about, and it's taken a really long time. Still waiting for Finster to show up. I had bought one from China, and it still hasn't arrived. And I bought that like mid-December. And it was EMS shipping, so it should have been quick, but it hasn't even arrived. So maybe Finster will be coming from Amazon shortly. I was so excited for that Finster, and I'm still my most anticipated, but this one was close behind because Ecliptor was pretty awesome. You know, if you haven't seen Power Rangers in Space, I really highly recommend it. For all the Mighty Morphin you know, fans, when we were kids growing up and watching Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, we probably didn't get through to In Space watching on TV, but man, it was really, really awesome. You know, I watched back most of the season with my son. We enjoyed it. You know, of course, it's kind of cheesy in some of the times and some of the episodes, some of the things that they do. But overall, a really good season that saved the Power Rangers franchise. And a lot of it has to do with the characters that were in there, like ASTRONEMA, like Ecliptor. So really, really cool. If you guys don't know, Ecliptor is kind of like a father figure to ASTRONEMA, I guess. Darkonda had kidnapped her when she was a child. Her brother to Andros, all this and that. It's a long story, but anyway, it makes sense that these two would come in a 2-pack. Ecliptor by itself would have been cool, and I would have preferred, because, you know, we don't need another ASTRONEMA, but man, the difference between these two figures is insane. This new one is so nice looking, but Ecliptor, of course, is the highlight of the pack. We get awesome artwork of ASTRONEMA here, looking really good. We get that artwork of Ecliptor there. I'm really excited for the red Ecliptor when that one comes out as well. Looking at the back of the package, we get this 3D render of the figures. The ASTRONEMA looks like crap here, but in figure, that head sculpt is really, really well done. So I'm excited to get this thing opened up, which we're going to do right now. Okay, so here are the figures out of the package, and they are packed with a bunch of different accessories. So let's take a look at the hands. So ASTRONEMA has the 2 open hands, and she also comes with a pair of fists, as you can see here. So that is pretty cool. There's a little bit of detail on these fists as well. So that is a nice touch. I'll get in for a closer look at that. They're going to be the same, so maybe I won't take a closer look at that. Ecliptor, he has a fist for his left, an open holding hand on his right to hold his sword, but we also come with the fist, right fist, and then an alternate left hand that has this lightning effect. And it's nice because the translucent yellow-green color comes out of the fingertips, although a bunch of paint rubbed off of this one, the middle finger, to where there's more lightning than there is figure, and I'm sure that's not how it's supposed to be. I think maybe paint had just come off, or maybe it's supposed to be like that. It just looks a little bit funky. We get this lightning effect piece that goes on the sword, but I think this one's going to be kind of tricky because it's made for a much smaller blade, so you have to kind of like work your magic to get this thing to work on there, because yeah, see. Well, I guess, but you have to like, it doesn't just slip in there nicely. You have to like wrap it around and then you can get it to work. That's kind of funky. But the sword itself is nicely detailed. I like the silver and gold paint that's on there. A little bit of red here at the bottom of the hilt. Black. The blade looks really cool with the black and green. And then the outside of the blade's edge, you get this nice silver. You get that little serrated part there. Looks really, really good. We get this purple lightning effect. I think this is the same one that ASTRONEMA had come with before. So you can use this, you know, depending on how you kind of want to get this attached. I think you could do something like this. and you can use that lightning effect there. This isn't new. We had seen this previously with the other ASTRONEMA figure. There's this weapon piece that ASTRONEMA comes with. We had seen this before as well. This is what clips onto her leg here. And I think this is probably turned. I don't think it's supposed to be in the front like that. Especially like this one, it was really kind of turned to the side a little bit. But we have that for ASTRONEMA. And then we have this other big-ass lightning piece. This one actually came with the Lord Draken Evo 3, the PulseCon exclusive from last year, the year before. So it's interesting that we got this one again. And the way all the images and stuff had it looking, like it's just kind of standing there, like in the background with Ecliptor, but it actually like stands up for him. And you know, the way they have it like this in the images, and maybe it's just warped on the version that the copy that I got, but it doesn't really stand up on its own. But it's more like a backdrop type piece. Like it's not going to really attach to anything, and you could have it leaning on something, or you put some weight on it. You can get it to stand in the background, you know, and that kind of looks a little bit cool, depending on what you do. The way they did it kind of looks cool as well. So it just kind of depends on how you end up using it. But those are all the accessories. Let's get in for a closer look at the ASTRONEMA figure first, and then we'll take a look at Ecliptor. Okay, so here's a close-up look at ASTRONEMA, and the head sculpt for her looks fantastic. I think this actually looks like the actress, and everything looks really, really good. The hair is cool. She had a few different hairstyles throughout the show. We did have this one. God, this one was ugly, right? That just does not look like her at all. Looking at the two of them, sorry, let me get the focus right. So looking at the two of them, it's just, how in the world is that supposed to be the same character? Like, what the hell is this? And the fact that the suit's basically the same, but this one's all sculpted, molded in, whereas this one was all paint. Like, what was going on, and what was the thought process of this first release? Like, I don't get it. Now, ASTRONEMA had a few different looks, so I would even argue that we should get at least one more, which would be kind of more the cyborg type look with the short red hair and like the implant on her face, I think it was. That would be really cool. I wouldn't mind getting that. And, you know, not that I wanted another ASTRONEMA figure right away, but this one is just so well done. I mean, look at the molded detail on there, the texture of the suit, all of that, whereas this was just painted, and it wasn't even terrible. But when you have something like this and you see that what they did and what they can do, it just makes a huge difference because it looks really good. Even around the back, look at the paint apps on there, just fantastic. Really, really nice. And I just noticed there's some purple shading in her hair too. I don't know if you guys could really see that so much because it's kind of bright. Let me darken it up for you just a quick second, and you could probably see it. So look at the paint variation in the hair. Oh, that is done just so nicely. Man, I really, 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 really like it. I think it came out looking fantastic. All these different parts all just look really good. Look, even this band around her leg, we get a nice gray plastic there. This one, the first release, had that cheap-ass gray plastic that I hate. We actually get a little bit more silvery gray plastic on it this time, so it makes a big difference. Yeah, just looks really, really nice. The necklace pieces was sculpted on her like football shoulder pads on that one. It's a separate piece now that she's wearing. Man, it just looks really, really nice. Really, really like it. Then the rest, the legs are all the same and everything, but this torso piece, that is all new and looks fantastic. Now let's take a look at Ecliptor. This guy's a badass. He is pretty damn awesome. He's kind of clunky looking, but that's the character design, and they hit it with all these like edges and all these sharp curves to him. Just looks really good. It kind of has a rocky look. Man, I dig it. I really like it. Really, really nice. The head sculpt looks really good. Yeah, I really like it. We get some wiring in there. We get some red and blue paint in there. Yeah, this is really good. This is what excites me about the Lightning Collection line, is getting characters like this, whereas Bandai never did it. I don't know what they were doing. They would always release the Rangers, you know, in terms of like the Legacy Collection. When the show was out, I'm sure there was a fair amount of figures or whatever, or basic figures, yes. But collector figure-wise, Bandai wasn't doing anything. They just weren't. They were doing the Rangers only. They did the In-Space Rangers, but they didn't do any villains. They didn't do anything like that. The Psycho Rangers don't count. They're still Rangers, even though, yes, they're villain Rangers. They didn't do anything like these characters, and Lightning Collection has given us that. You know, we got a badass ASTRONEMA figure and now a super cool Ecliptor figure. That's what this Lightning Collection is all about. Now, I know there's a lot of hate that they're getting right now for incorrect designs and design flaws, missing paint apps, all this, that, the inconsistencies. I get it. They're a toy company making the figures. Yes, they need to pay more close attention before they sign off on these things. All of that. Yes, I don't want to say that, no, it's not a big deal. But man, they just, every little thing, they seem to be getting so much hate. And I mean, I understand some of it, but it's like, man, at some point, can you try to enjoy the figure? And maybe and that's probably just me, but like for me, I just, I want to be able to enjoy the figure. And for me, the way these look, the aesthetics that they put into it, I'm really liking them. I'm going to show you guys a close-up detail of the sword because it is just super badass. Man, this is cool. Really, really digging it. Really, really like it. I mean, the effect piece too. That's really nice. I really like that. All these other things, we've seen these before, so not a really big deal, but pretty awesome stuff. I would really like to see a Dark Honda next, or maybe when Dark Honda and Ecliptor, when they combined, I would really like to see that figure. That would be really cool. One flaw that I do see on this, we could have used couple more green lines in there. You see the Rocky formation. They could have put some outline in there, but other than that, still an awesome looking figure. Man, I am so happy that Hasbro did this. Okay, so we're going to take a look at Ecliptor's articulation. The head, as you can see, it must be on a dumbbell joint because you get all kinds of range of motion in there, all kinds of pivot and everything, full swivel on there. He can look down only that much, so not a whole lot. He can look up only that much, but those dumbbell joints, that's kind of what we get there. The arms, you can get his left arm to go kind of straight out like so. This right arm, kind of not as much. You can't really do a full rotation in here because this chest piece, as you can see, is kind of extends out. It's not a hard plastic or anything like that, but because of that, this shoulder pad that's kind of loose fitting and it swivels with the shoulder, it's just kind of tricky. So you can do the full rotation, and then that shoulder pad can move easily with it. So that's actually kind of cool. You have an upper bicep swivel in here. You get a double jointed elbow on this guy. Unfortunately, we do not have pinless elbows, which would have been nice, but we do not have the pinless, so you get that much bend at the elbow. The left hand swivels and you have a horizontal hinge. This shoulder, the right shoulder, this big shoulder piece also swivels with the arm, so you can get a full rotation in there. Has that same upper bicep swivel, and then you get a double jointed elbow on this one as well, and you get that much bend there, so that is good. Same articulation scheme with this guy as the Ranger, so you have the upper diaphragm joint, so you can get Ecliptor to pivot to his left that much. You can get him to pivot to his right only that much, so not nearly as much, unfortunately. You get a swivel at that diaphragm cut there, so you could turn him like so. You can get it to go back a little bit, come forward a little bit as well, but then you have the inverted ab crunch, so both of them working together. He's only going to go forward that much, which isn't a whole lot, but back he can go like crazy there. So there he is. The legs go out that far apart, which is really good for as clunky and as big as they are. They allow for the movement of the legs to move. You can kick forward that much. Leg goes back actually quite far. You have an upper thigh cut in there. You get a double jointed knee like so. No calf swivel or anything like that. But let me see. There's an ankle ball. So there is a swivel at the ankle ball. And then you do have the rocker peg holes at the bottom of the feet, foot hinges down like so, and then you get a little bit of hinge going up. So decent amount of articulation there for Ecliptor. ASTRONEMA, we'll take a quick look, even though she's essentially still the same figure, but we'll take a look. She can look down that much, but the hair kind of flares out like that. She cannot look up whatsoever because the hair really gets in the way. Shoulder goes up that high. There is a butterfly joint, so you can get the arm to go back quite far. You can get to come forward a little bit of crossbody, not a whole lot. Single jointed elbow with a swivel at the elbow, and you're going to get that much bend, so just about 90 degrees there. You have the diaphragm cut, so she can pivot to her left that much. She can pivot to her right that much. You have the inverted ab crunch, so crunch forward that much. You can go back that much, not a whole lot. Swivel at that diaphragm cut, as you can see there. Legs go out that far apart. She can't kick forward that far. You have an upper thigh cut in there. Doesn't really go back. Double jointed knees, like so. Foot hinges all the way down, hinge up. There is a swivel at the ankle, and then peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So nothing new with ASTRONEMA. Even though it's a new body mold, no new points of articulation. Okay, so here is a quick side-by-side comparison so you can see how they all match up size-wise with the Rangers. So I love when Hasbro gives us the monsters that are not in the 7-inch monster scale. I think it's too late for them to course correct on there, but when they release these type of monsters that were like main characters, at least like Goldar, like Zed, like Finster, it makes sense that they are not that 7-inch scale, but that they scale better with the 6-inch Rangers. So here, Ecliptor is a perfect size in my opinion. Maybe he could be a little bit bulkier if anything, but height-wise, I think he's at a good position. So I really like, again, when they can get them to scale properly. I don't know if at some point Hasbro will ever go with monsters from any of the other seasons aside from Mighty Morphin. I think we may get, you know, certain characters and that type of thing. So like here with Ecliptor, we also got like the cyber villain Blaze, you know, because he was essentially like a ranger, right? He was training to be a ranger. At least I know that about Beast Morphers. So things like that, I think where it makes sense that they're going to give us some things. Maybe they'll do army builders eventually for certain seasons. You know, we've seen that with the Putties, the Z Putties, and now the Zeo Cogs. So hopefully we will see, you know, different ones for the different seasons in space. I'm trying to think of what those army building, you know, villains were, and I can't for the life of me remember. But that would be cool if we got them. You know, In Space has gotten a lot of love from Hasbro. We finally completed the team. I did get the In Space Pink Cassie. I have not opened that. I don't think I'm going to review it at this point. It's kind of been so long. But you guys let me know down in the comments below if you guys would like to still see me do Power Rangers reviews. It just, they haven't been getting a whole lot of views, so then the motivation to continue doing the videos just really aren't there. But if you guys think that I should keep doing it, if you guys want to see me do them, then maybe I will. But man, I love the way these all look together. Okay, so here are, you know, a final look at the Ecliptor and the ASTRONEMA figures. An awesome 2-pack. If you missed out on the ASTRONEMA before, you know, don't bother trying to get that one now. You really need this one. But it is the only way at this point to get the In Space Red Ranger, of course. We'll likely see him released with the glider, just like we saw TJ get re-released, which now has shown up in Australia, and again, does have one of those incorrect logos on the glider. So that's, you know, one of the things I've seen going around, and rightfully so, right? Hasbro shouldn't miss those things. I don't think it's not a big enough issue for like to stop me from wanting to buy it. I still think it's really cool, but I do again understand the frustrations of these little things that it's like, why can't they get that right? And that's just, you know, an oversight. Somebody overlooked it from design into approval process or whatever. You know, again, these are toy makers that didn't work on the show. They only use materials to go back and review and look. But somebody dropped the ball somewhere. So I get, you know, that there's definitely a problem there. So it's unfortunate. But this 2-pack is amazing. It is awesome. I love it. Last I checked, it is available right now, still in stock through Amazon. Again, this is an Amazon exclusive, so link in the video description below. ASTRONEMA is awesome. Ecliptor is freaking amazing. Red Ecliptor is going to be awesome. I need a Dark Honda. Give us a Dark Honda, Hasbro. We need it. It will be perfect, so we can have Ecliptor and Dark Honda. We can have, and then if you do the figure of them when they're combined, that would be crazy. But we need those figures, so hopefully we'll get them. But in the meantime, you guys let me know down in the comments below what you think of this 2-pack. Are you excited for it if you haven't gotten it yet? Or if you have gotten it, did it live up to your expectations? For me, it actually far exceeded them. I am extremely happy. But you guys let me know, again, how you feel in the comments below. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching.